That's right. The Kings are racking up dubs 5 in a row, and Drew Doughty knows a thing or two about winning in the NHL.
Yeah.
We're happy to have him join
Knows a lot
the show.
about it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Drew, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We are
Good.
Wonderful, and we're happy to be back to work. You must be happy to be back to work because it has been such a wild, unpredictable 12 months for everybody in North America. How has things been for you, and what did you do with all of the free time on your hands in the off season?
I mean, everything's good. The off season obviously is long, but it's I think a blessing in disguise. I was able to get in the best shape of my life. And, you know, being away from the game for so long like that, it just really, you know, makes you miss the game. Not that I didn't have the same drive I've always had, but when you don't play for that long, you just want to get back to the game that you love, and then you want to get out there and play. And so, yeah, I was back home in London with my family, stayed there basically until camp started, just because the numbers were lower in Ontario than they were in LA. And yeah, now we're rolling.
Shout out Forest City.
There you go. There you go. Hey, you mentioned, you said like you felt like you got yourself into great shape, and you know, I look at the numbers for your team: Kopitar, Brown, Doughty, Quick. You guys are driving this bus again, and the team is playing very well. Talk just to me a little bit about understanding how, as you get older as an athlete, you have to work a little harder. It seems like we hear that all the time. Have you found that, and do you feel like that extra work is really paying off for you and probably your teammates as well?
Yeah, no doubt about it. The older you get, it's harder to feel good on the ice. So you got to do a lot more off the ice, you know, whether it's stretching, lifting. You got to do a lot to be ready for games. When I was a young boy, you know, I could just kind of wake up and go out there and play tons of minutes and play well. And as I got older, it's been a little bit of a struggle. And, you know, for me personally, I think maybe I learned that a little too late, but now I've got it down pat and I'm feeling good. So I guess I'm a little bit proud of all of us for doing that.
Drew, you guys have Stu Grimson here. You guys have 17 games under your belt. The Kings do. Got a kind of past the quarter pole turn here. So you've got a pretty good, I guess, sense of how this COVID / pandemic realigned Honda West division is working out. For you and your Kings teammates, are there adjustments you guys have had to make? How are you finding these 2, 3, sometimes 4 game sets with one specific team?
I think we love it. I don't know. I haven't really talked to any guys on any other teams, but I know guys on my team, we love it. And we're hoping that when this COVID's all gone, that in the next seasons to come, we can kind of do these types of things where you play back-to-back in a night. It saves time on travel, not just flying to a city for one game and flying out. And it just creates those rivalries, and you're more engaged in the game. That second game when you play on a back-to-back or whatever it is, I mean, it's a fight out there. It's a war, and that's the most fun hockey to play. So I think we're all loving it on our team anyway, and we hope that it continues.
Well, you say you're in the best shape of your life. It looks like you're racking up points, but I saw an interview last week where you said you're as happy with your defensive play as you are your offensive play. How does Drew Doughty measure his defensive play on a night in, night out basis? Do you look at advanced stats? Is it about keeping the top players off the score sheet? How does Drew Doughty measure his defensive game?
I mean, I definitely look at my matchup. Usually that's against the other team's best line and best players. And yeah, so first off, you're trying to keep them off the score sheet, but a lot of times it's impossible to do it with guys, especially when they get power play looks and stuff like that. There's not much you can do. But for me, it's just about competing hard. That's one of my number one attributes is I always compete, and I care more about keeping pucks out of our goal than I do about scoring them. That's just been the way I've played my entire career, and playing defense is something I take a lot of pride in. I want to make that night tough for those top players. I want to play them hard down low, throw big hits, just be good positionally and frustrate them. When you're playing good defense against the top guys and they're not getting looks, they get frustrated easy, and that's how you win the battle. So I take a lot of pride in that, and so does everyone else on our team. Do
you enjoy it a little bit when they show that frustration? Like if you see a guy like slam his stick, like do you get a little joy out of it?
Oh yeah, I love it. And if I see them getting frustrated, I'm skating right up to them and laughing in their faces. Just Yeah, I love that part of the game. I love the game within the game, chirping guys and trying to get under their skin. And, guys get under my skin and I snap too sometimes. Sometimes I don't win every battle, that's for sure. And I think we've all seen me kind of go off the rails a few times, but I've got better at it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you miss Matthew Tkachuk a lot, but that's a discussion for another day. Let me ask you about the younger guys on the team, because as I mentioned, you veterans who've won 2 Stanley Cups and are still the core of that group are playing so well. But who the heck are these young guys? Give me a couple of names of guys that are playing with you right now that are younger players that maybe aren't getting attention that you see as a veteran who's been in this league for a while and say, hey, these guys are playing pretty well. They have a chance to be good players.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about the D-Corps just because that's obviously the guys I work with the most and pay the most attention to. We got a guy, my partner right now is Mikey Anderson, a great player, plays with great poise, talks a lot. He's a great partner for me and going to be a very, very good player. We got Tobias Bjornfoot from Sweden. He's only 19 or 20 years old. And man, he's going to be a player too. And we got so many young guys, everyone on the back end, Matt Roy, Sean Walker. They're guys that a lot of people around the league I don't think have heard of, but they're making a name for themselves, especially around our team, and our D-Corps is really coming along. Obviously with Cal Peterson and net, he's a hell of a goalie. We have a very, very good duo with him and Jonathan Quick. I would put him up against anyone in the league. And then on offense, I don't think we have too many fresh young faces. I mean, Jared Anderson-Dolan was playing really well at the start of the season. He just got hurt, unfortunately, but he was buzzing. But these young guys are just pushing us old guys. That's the big difference this year is they're giving us energy. They're playing with energy. They're willing to compete, willing to work, and they're just pushing us older guys, and that's why we're having more success this year.
Drew, E.J. mentions the younger guys, kind of partial to my heart. You mentioned the older guys. I mean, it's got to mean a lot to this group that somebody like a Dustin Brown, who's long been an inspirational leader to this group, is kind of clipping along at a 40-goal pace right now. Talk about the play of Brownie and others.
Yeah, Brownie, he's a great player, great teammate, a great leader. Plays his butt off in games, and he's a great goal scorer. He plays really well with Kopi. They're both just playing well. Kopi, we all know how good Kopi is. There's not enough good things you can say about that guy. He's just a stud. He's unbelievable. And then obviously Jeff Carter. When I came to camp this year, I remember skating in camp and Jeff was coming down on me and he just buzzed by me and I was like, man, how the hell did you get faster? You're like 35 years old and you're the fastest I've ever seen you. And he got off to a hot start too, and he's playing great. So, yeah, we're a little older, but don't ever rule us out. We still have the same fire, the same drive to compete. And like I said, obviously we have a better team this year, and these young guys are getting better and older, and everything's kind of coming together. And that's why you're seeing the success on the paper.
You did mention Anderson there, your D partner, and I was reading that you were talking about how good his communication skills are on the ice, and we hear that so often in hockey about the communication, and I just assume that everybody communicates well out there. But have you ever had someone in your career, maybe not at the NHL level, but that maybe was a little too quiet on the ice, where you had to be like, bro, I need you to speak up a little more. I need you to talk to me out there, man.
Unfortunately, we don't all talk. That's my thing in the room for the game. Talk to me, boys. Talk to me. I don't have to make the play. And, for the most part, the D are good talkers, the goalies, but we got to get on the forwards every once in a while to talk. They, all they got to say is middle or rim or something, and we can make the play right away. So it's something that we demand on our team. It's something that we're getting better at. But talking is one of the most helpful things you can do for your teammate on the ice.
No question about that. I want to ask you one more thing, Drew. You've always been kind of a natural to me. I know it's not that easy. You put in a lot of work to be that player. I remember you coming into the league in your first year and playing a lot of minutes, and I was like, wow, this guy stepped right in and is doing a great job. You've gotten to this point of your career now. They're talking about Team Canada for 2022. I see some lists. I don't see your name on it, and I I don't have a list like that. Your name is always going to be on that list for me. What are you thinking about when you think about that? I know it's in the future, there's uncertainty, but what do you think about for Team Canada? Because for me, they still need Drew Doughty.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. When I don't see my name on that stuff, it completely frustrates me. And I've talked to teammates about it, coaches about it, and everyone's like, just ignore it. Don't look at it. Like, why do you care what the media says? And I'm just like, man, I'm not trying to look for it. It just like comes up on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's hard not to see it. Let's be
find
real.
you?
You can't just ignore it.
No, I'm not searching for it or anything. But then I'm like back home in London this summer watching TSN and Sportsnet, and then it just pops right up during the highlights. So how are we going to avoid that? And so back to it, yeah, it frustrates me, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make that team. I don't believe the media. I know that the GMs that are creating this team, they know hockey, I think, better than most people. So, I use it exactly. So I'm just using it as a tool to push myself, to prove to everyone I should be on that team. I've been on the team twice before, played lots of minutes, was a big part of the teams, and I think I can for sure do that again.
Yeah, and for the don't look at it crowd, even if you weren't watching TV, didn't have social media, and just refused to go on the internet, your friends and family would be telling you, so then you would just know about it anyway.
Yeah, well, if they want to win, they'll have Drew Doughty.
Listen,
that's all I'm saying.
Canadian girl over here. I agree with you.
Yeah,
but, based on what we've seen from you, Drew, over the years, I feel like you playing with a bit of a chip on your shoulder is probably very dangerous for your opposition.
For everybody else.
Night in and night out. Congratulations on the heck of a start to the season for you and your team. We really appreciate it.
Keep it up.
Best of luck.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.